Well, welcome back. It's June and we're on Crown Lakes again. Yeah, as I said at the end of the April one, it's I couldn't get over here in May, which I was pretty sure would be to my downfall. And yeah, May is probably, not probably, it's the best it has fished since I've been on here. There was quite a few fish out and a couple of the better fish as well. June, it's been okay. It's June the 10th now and there's been 9 fish out, so almost a fish a day, which is a lot better than it was doing last year. I think some of that says new members as of the 1st of June, so there's more people fishing and maybe the fish are moving around a bit more, whereas before when I've turned up there's been 1 or 2 people on, so it's easy for the fish to move off. I mean, I've got here this morning and there's 5 others already on here. I don't rush to get here for the draw. I could, but the journey here would just be not too pleasant. I would have thought in rush hour, whereas by coming up a bit later I've quite a nice journey up here. And yeah, have I missed out by not being here for the draw? I guess if we ever get a point where all the swims have gone, then yes, I have missed out. But I've walked around, I've not seen any fish in any of the swims. The ones that are in use, I spoke to the guys who were here for the draw, none of them has seen anything. And so I've plumped to go in that swim called the Bog, which is just by the car park, which I fished. I think I fished the first vlog last April, or this April. And yeah, the wind's really hacking into here. I've not seen any fish. And I just thought I'd fish it slightly different today. Before coming up, I phoned up the Korda office and paid to pick up a bag of pellet. And if you're on here, it's a great deal. You're getting 25 kilos of pellet for £25, and the bailiff leaves it locked in the toilet for you the night before you get here. So yeah, I got here this morning, picked up 25 kilos of pellet, and it's the pellet that the bailiffs are feeding the fish on, albeit when I say feeding, they just randomly scatter it in swims. So my thought process today is, if they're scattering it in swims, it's not going that very far out. So I have put 5 kilos of pellet 6 rod lengths out to my right on a nice clear spot in 12 foot of water, and I'm just playing a hunch that the fish are used to seeing a pile of pellet and it was not going to spook them off. So hopefully at some point in my 24 hours they will come across that, feed on it and pick up my bait that's in amongst it. So that's the theory on the right hand rod. The middle rod I've put to a spot just off some reeds, 50 yards out, and that's in 13 foot of water, again nice and clear. I've put 3 kilos of boilie on there, combination of 20 mils and 16 mils, and again I'm just hoping that the fish are hoping, well, they've already spawned apparently and they're still feeding and looking for food, and that's the idea on that spot. My left hand rod, originally I was just going to put it out on an adjustable zig, but I've not seen any fish showing, so again I've just flicked it to my left. It's probably again only 6 rod lengths out, just off some reeds. You can't get too close to them because there's loads of bricks and debris on the bottom, but again it's a clear spot, and again I've put out probably 2 kilos of pellet on that spot. So yeah, pretty much banking on them having a munch up on a big bed of bait. That's the ploy. If I see fish out in open water, I will move one of the rods onto a zig and try it at different depths. But you know, that's the plan. I've obviously not had a fish out of here this year. Well, back here I was going to do 48 hours, but I'm setting my mind on 24 hours with a view of I could do an extra night if I want, but I need to get off early Sunday morning if I do an extra night, and the road out of here is closed Sunday morning for a cycle race. So it would be a really early get out of here. So we'll play it by ear. Like I say, if fish start to show or I get a fish, I'll make a decision then. But yeah, there's not much I can tell you about the lake. Nothing's changed since the last vlog, so we'll just see what happens, and I'll update the vlog at some point before I go. So speak to you then. Well, good morning, and yeah, welcome back. It's, I don't know, 7:30 now, I think. Yeah, no, 20 past 7. So yeah, bit of a actionless night as usual, which isn't good. Yeah, it turned quite cold last night. The wind turned to a westerly rather than a southwesterly, so the westerly was straight into me. So yeah, quite cold night. I think if you watch the April one, you'll remember when I was in the swim, I was set back there for the same reason. It was a westerly wind. So cold, but meant I got to hear any noises on the lake, and about 2 o'clock the wind speed had dropped, albeit it was still that westerly, and I heard fish. I didn't get out of bed, but they were certainly way over there somewhere. And I could hear fish at 2 in the morning. It was sort of, I sat up and tried to look from here because the moon was out and it's quite a clear night. But yeah, fish were out there. Whether anybody caught anything in the night, I don't know. I never heard anybody, you know, normally hear fish flapping on the mat, or people's scales is another noise that if you're an angler, you'll know that noise of the scales bouncing when they're weighed. So yeah, I didn't hear anything. Then I had the alarm set for, just wait for that train to go by. I don't remember hearing loads of trains on here before, but yesterday they didn't stop all day long, and that's certainly at least the 4th one since 6 o'clock this morning. But yeah, oh, kingfish has just landed on my rod. Not that you can see it, it's just sitting on my rod over there. So if I can spin the camera around and get that, it'll probably fly off now. Yeah, he flew off, so that didn't work. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, so alarm was set for 4:30 this morning, so I was up at 4:30 having a look. Couldn't see any fish. I mean, I didn't see any yesterday, but that said, there's such a chop on the water. The subtle little rolls that they give on here, it's almost impossible to see if they're out there doing it. So I've not seen any fish. The 3 rods are still on their spots. I know they're on good spots. I know there's bait around them. I know they're fishing well. So take time now is running out, to be honest. It's one of those lakes. Take times are any time from just into dark up till about 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why that is. It's years ago when people would tell me certain lakes would only have takes at night. I didn't believe it, but yeah, that's definitely one of the club lakes that I fish, and I don't have a night ticket on. On and off for 3 years I've tried to get a fish out of there. In that time I've seen 1 carp landed in the daytime, and talking to the bailiff recently when I was doing a day session on there, he said he's fished it for 5 years, he's never had a fish out in the daytime. So maybe there are lakes that only fish in the day, in the night for some reason. The other thing is the bailiff came round yesterday, AD, and talking to him, where I thought he was fishing well in June, 9 fish in 10 days. I think I'd said yesterday, it turned out 6 of those were off the little back lake, so it's not fishing so well. But we'll see, we'll persevere. You know, the rods are out there, and hopefully in the next hour and a half I'm turning this camera back on with a fish in front of it. But yeah, there's not a lot else I can say. You know, I fished spots that I spoke about last time on here. So that's all you can do. Find decent spots and get the baits on there. So as I say, hopefully I'm catching up with you in an hour or so with a fish on the bank, and take it from there. Okay, speak to you soon. Okay, welcome back. And yeah, ironically I'm back in the same swim again. The only difference is got the umbrella set well back in the corner again, because it's a very windy day. conditions are absolutely bang on. This is a new southwesterly wind hacking into this swim, low pressure, and for once I've seen fish this morning in the swim. So I got here usual about 10:15, there was 2 others here. Walked down, spoke to a guy in Flins, and fish were crashing in front of him whilst we were talking, albeit some of them were out in 40 foot of water, and yeah, I don't quite understand why they're crashing, what they're doing. Are they picking bugs up mid-water and then coming out? They're not going down 40 foot and feeding, but nonetheless, he had quite a few fish in front of him and some to his in the margins, so that's looking positive. And the other guy, surprisingly, is on the back of the wind. He's over in the life buoy, but there are fish showing over there by all accounts. Speaking to someone earlier who was fixing the toilet door, which got vandalised unfortunately, and he'd been round and he said fish were showing in the swim on the back of the wind, which surprises me, but they were there. I was going to go on the small lake, to be honest, thought I'd give that a go, but came down, walked down here and had a look, and whilst down here 3 fish showed, not big fish, doubles, but just seeing fish in the area just made me want to come here. So I'm fishing, one spot's my little right hand rod is just a little underarm flick right into this corner where there's a clear spot there. Certainly I think I've done 3 or 4 sessions in here now and not caught off that spot, but they've had a couple of kilos of boilie every time on that spot, so, and some pellet. So fish are going in there and getting free food on occasions, so hopefully they will come along in the next 24 hours or so and have a feed, and I'll actually get a fish off it. My other rod's on that 13 wrap spot up against some reeds in 12 foot of water, and then the third rod, instead of fishing the spot that I normally do just to the left here, I've put it out 80 yards, again quite tight to some reeds, and just because the fish that I've seen were on that reed line, and also the fish the next swim that way is Flins, and there were fish on that reed line which hopefully they're coming round this way to me. So that's the plan, sit here and hopefully get a fish. But yeah, it's has it fished well? I don't know. There were 3 fish out last weekend, only doubles. The previous weekend when I was here and didn't catch, 2 guys were in Flins, they doubled up, and one of the guys had 2 fish. But again, only doubles. And that's the problem for me anyway on here, is, you know, it's not local. It takes me a good drive is a small hour and 20 minutes to get here. And if I do catch a fish, if it's a double, I just feel I'll be glad I caught a fish, but at the same time, if you've looked at some of my other vlogs, some of the club lakes, you know, one of them I did well, not even a day. I did 7 AM to about 3 PM, got the fish going, had 2 20s and 8 doubles in you know, 10, 11 hours. So I haven't really joined here and come all this way for doubles. So we'll see how we do. Hopefully I'll get a fish and I'm happy. I will be happy, even if it's a double. I'll be happy to catch a fish, but maybe have a rethink. But maybe some couple of big fish will come along, and yeah, and I'll be, oh, I can't wait to get back here. But anyway, I'll update this certainly before I go home, and hopefully I'm updating it with a fish. I say it every time, but one time it's got to be right. So yeah, speak to you in a bit. Okay, well, welcome back. Just a quick update really. It's nothing's happened, but throughout the afternoon there's been tench rolling in front of me. And the wind's picked up certainly in the last hour or so. It just feels like something's going to happen. literally any minute I'll be sat here watching the water, and I'm just can't believe I'm not seeing more fish, and that I've not had a take yet. You know, I'm just I may be wrong and I may not catch, but it's looking good for the night. Plans are I'm certainly going to sit here till just after dark, so probably 10:30, and then I aim to get up 4:30, 5 o'clock, just scour the water. That's if nothing's happened in the night. Hopefully I'm getting up because I've had a fish, and there'll be some nighttime footage on the old video of a nice lump or two. But yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, that's it for now. Update you in the morning, or hopefully in the night with a fish. Speak to you later. Well, good morning. And yeah, sadly no night video or anything. Don't know what to say really. Went to bed so I couldn't even get to sleep. I was so sure the buzzers were going to sound last night, but yeah, not one single bleep. Nothing. I don't know what to say really. You know, packing up now, so rods are out for another hour or so, and that'll be it. I think for me, this swim isn't a swim. It would take a lot to get me back in here. So I can't remember, it's 3 or 4 times I fished it. I mean, definitely one time was on a hunch because of the wind, although it was an old wind. Yesterday wasn't just a hunch, there were a few fish out there, albeit not a lot, but there were a few, and there were tench rolling in front of me during the day, so I felt like I was on fish. I've just come to the conclusion, maybe wrongly, this isn't a swim where fish feed for whatever reason. Certainly you could not have better conditions than the last 24 hours. A new strong southwesterly wind, low pressure, fish in the area. The baits are fishing correctly, they're not tangled or anything. So yeah, I don't know, it's for me personally not a swim I will be heading to in the future. Not unless I come here and every fish in the lake is showing and heading and nutting and whatever in this bay. So yeah, that's it for this swim. Obviously I don't know if anybody caught anything because I didn't hear anything, let's say. Certainly this morning I was up early, the fish are still in front of Flynn's. I'd be surprised if he hasn't had any fish because they've been showing in there all the 24 hours I've been here. So he may have had a couple of fish, or a fish at least. There was 4 of us on last night. So I'll see. Obviously Facebook will get updated at some point if there was any fish out. So but yeah, I don't know what to say now. That's June, albeit maybe it's a water where you've got to put in a lot more time than I can put in, but certainly June hasn't produced anything for me, and hasn't produced that many fish full stop really, but seems to be the way this lake is at the moment. I'm not sure how much I'll do in July over here. I'm certainly off to France again the end of July, but I'll try and get a couple of trips in, maybe have a go down on Little Crown, which is what I was going to do this week, but because the fish was showing I couldn't not jump in this swim. Anyway, probably a bit boring again because no fish caught. That's the way it is. It's as the title says, it's a warts and all of Crown Lake, and yeah, most people don't catch. Maybe we're just not good anglers, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for June. If you keep watching, I'll see you in July. Take care.